If you can all excuse the makeup, I'm having a moment today. I'm going through something. I'm trying to bring emo back again. Before we get started, YouTube have been unsubbing people from my channel, so, you know, resub, or if you're new, think about subbing and then like and comment for the engagement. Thank you. Okay, let's move on. Anyway, so for today's video, I'm tired. I'm tired already. But I have to preface this with there's something I want to talk about: weaponizing one's YouTube audience and why you probably shouldn't do it. It's probably not the best of moves. So, Tana Mongeau recently came back to YouTube with a 35-minute story time. She said she was doing these short vlogs and then people didn't really like them. They were David Dobrik style and people were unfollowing her, and she said, okay, I hear you, I'll come back with the long ass story times. But I don't think that's like the only reason why people were unfollowing you, but whatever, be that as it may. So she comes back with this story time video, and it's about how one of her best friends, which again, I think I've said this before, or I just said this in a video that I haven't released yet. Tana Mongeau calling someone a best friend is kind of meaningless because everyone's her closest friend. If you've met her once, you probably are her best friend and you have a connection like no other. But one of her best friends fucked her fuck buddy. That's the video. And there's a few things to go over first. So she says at the beginning of the video, I'm just recapping the story time for people that don't want to watch the video. She says at the beginning of the video that she went to this restaurant and there was another party in the back of 35 people in pandemic times, which is wild. In the UK, we have this rule for restaurants, groups of 6 people, more groups of 6 aren't allowed, and different mixed households that aren't in your support bubble, blah, 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 that kind of thing. So there was this album release party of about like 35 people, and it was her ex-boyfriend Mod's son, who also used to date Bella Thorne, and they were in some sort of, I don't know, it's whatever. And it's obvious that she's talking about Mod's son because, well, she basically mentions the song title at the end of the video, and also says that Megan Fox was there. Megan Fox is dating Machine Gun Kelly. I hate that I know all this stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Mod's son might be dating Avril Lavigne. Okay. And he did this song about her called Karma. Because she said this, his video went up so much more in the views it was or would have got initially if she hadn't have mentioned it. And though the lyrics are a little bit juvenile because it's stuff like, I hope you choke on the lies that you used to tell me, or something like that. Hope your new man gives you something you can't get rid of. Okay, mate. I actually think it's quite good. I think it's quite good. It's very like post-punk pop. That makes sense. Like very kind of Sum 41, Blink 182, which, you know, if we're gonna bring back or make pop punk a thing again, then I'm here for that. I enjoy that. My Chemical Romance, The Danger Days, that era, probably one of my favourites. Mod's son for me is a bit of a conflicting character because he did this video, I think over a year ago, that I watched for obvious reasons, about him getting sober from alcohol and cocaine and drugs and that type of thing. And it was a long video, it was about 15 minutes long, and it's kind of stream of conscious, and it was so interesting, and I think there is a lot of depth to his character and certainly an intelligence there, and he seems quite self-aware about his own actions, and it was a really interesting video. I really liked it, from one coke addict to another kind of thing. I thought it was a really good video. But then he does stuff like, he's 33 years old, right? He does stuff like date Tana Mongeau, who's what, 22, and, you know, an influencer, so that's never going to go down. Well, I don't know. It's like there's this very mature, self-aware side of him, and then there's the side of him that dates Tana Mongeau and then makes a song about her, a nasty song after they've broken up, and apparently he's made several other songs about her, so good for you, I guess. But at the same time, I think his music is quite good. He's been doing it for a long time, so it makes sense that it is good. Do you know what I mean? There was also this bit in Tana's story time where apparently Mod's son was standing on this chair in this restaurant and then started like yelling the chorus at her, which, I mean, it's funny, but it's also, you're 33, what are you doing? So anyway, for the rest of this video, she really paints this friend in a bad light, the one that ends up fucking her fuck buddy, and she uses fake names but leaves enough clues around for people to be able to sniff out who it is. She does that, like the sugar daddy story that she did, and then people worked out who that was. So the fake names she used were Jeff and Mindy. People found out straight away who it was. I can say, because everyone's, you know, everyone on that side of YouTube are talking about it. So Mindy is someone called Brooke Schofield. who Tana says was trying to be a little clone of hers, and they do look quite similar, but they're both blonde and tanned. So then, predictably, after Tana's audience found out who Mindy was, they went and just harassed her on Instagram. And I was looking through some of the comments, because she's limited her comments now. I was looking through some of the comments she was getting on Instagram, and it was stuff to the tune of, "You're a whore, you're a slut, you're fat, you're not as hot as Tana, you don't look blah, 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 blah." Quite degrading stuff, yeah? So it got to the point that Brooke then has made her own YouTube channel, I think, because I had barely any subscribers, so I assume it's new, to make a video explaining her side of the story. Tana's side of the story was, Brooke said to her, "You can't ever fuck anyone that I am interested in." Tana was like, "Fine." And then Brooke went off to this movie theatre room, in that they have a movie theatre room in their house, to fuck Tana's. Fuck, it's so juvenile. It's literally so juvenile. Brooke's side of it, she verified that the whole mod son thing actually did happen, which again, it's hilarious, but in a quite sad way. And she says that at this little after party they had at the house, Tana went off with her crush. She said that Tana outed her, that it wasn't, I assume, public knowledge that this girl is, I think, bisexual, maybe pansexual. But she says that Tana went off with the crush, the one person that Brooke said, "Hey, I'd appreciate it if you don't." And Tana's one person was, "I'd appreciate it if you don't try to fuck Jake, Paul." And apparently everyone in the house was saying to Brooke, "It's not right that she's done that to you." And then Brooke only made out with Jeff in the movie theatre, and she still says, "I take full accountability. As a friend, I shouldn't have done that. Blah, 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 blah." Right, okay. Tana's version is then that she found CCTV footage of Brooke and the dude fucking. But Brooke's version is there wasn't CCTV footage of that. It was just of them like hanging out in the kitchen, which is the same footage that Tana's put on her TikTok or whatever. Oh God, this is so... It's so inane, but I have to slog through it so then I can say my opinion on what I think is the real issue. Also, Brooke tried to apologise, and Tana's version is that everyone in the house was telling Brooke to get out the house, but Brooke's version is people in the house were talking to her, but they all thought they would blow over. Anyway, the friendship is now irreparable, and Brooke is getting thousands upon thousands of 13-year-olds telling her to kill herself and, you know, calling her degrading things, XYZ, what you'd expect from Tana Mongeau's teenage audience. Now, is this the first time that Tana has put up a story time and the other party has come out with slightly conflicting information? No, it's not the first time. Tana did a video, a year or two ago, about being assaulted by a rapper's girlfriend. The assault did happen, but the details around it are different. Tana said that the rapper was flirting with her, but the rapper says that she wasn't flirting with Tana. Tana was being flirted. Conflicting information, you know, the details are very different because Tana likes to... Tana is good at doing story times. She is, because she is engaging and entertaining, but it comes at a price because she's obviously exaggerating. And the problem is Tana has a young fan base still, somehow, who are going to take her word for things and take it upon themselves to go find the person, stalk them, and send them shit and grief, which is what has happened with Brooke. Which I don't think is acceptable, because Tana Mongeau knows very well that her audience are going to easily find out who the person she's talking about, because she leaves in enough information for that to be the case, for people to find out who she's talking about, whether she's doing that on purpose or not. My opinion is that, yes, she is doing it on purpose. Like the sugar daddy story. And the thing is whether this person has right or wronged you, Tana Mongeau has an audience of 5 million people on Instagram. Wait, no. Yes. Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. She has like 5 million followers. Doesn't add up to 15 million because they're mainly the same people, right? Give or take a couple 100,000 or so. So to blast someone so egregiously and make them out to just be an awful, calculating person, knowing full well that your audience is going to find out who this person is and then send her grief, it is vindictive to do so, and it's weaponizing your audience. And sooner or later, because other people, like Tana's not the first YouTuber to do this, other people have, like H3 and Keemstar, when they got into that whole debacle, they were weaponizing their audiences to go against each other. Sooner or later, YouTube is going to crack down on that kind of behavior, because it's incredibly irresponsible when you have a platform of like 5 million. I know that some people will say it doesn't account for much when a YouTuber says, "I'm just talking about this person, don't go after them." But Tana doesn't even do that. She doesn't even like preface with that. Don't find out who this person is. Don't go send her grief. And her audience are young enough to be sending her, this girl, death threats. And the girl, Brooke, interestingly says that the people living in the house Tana's currently in are all dependent on her. Not like they got their own thing going on monetarily, but they're living with her and their careers. They're all very intertwined. Like, you know, Mari and Ashley's careers are very intertwined with Tana and, you know, whoever else lives there. So Brooke doesn't blame them for choosing Tana's side publicly, and they're all making fun of it. She doesn't blame them because it's just how it is. But I kind of like, that's very weak. I get it because they want to look after their careers, and, you know, Tana supposedly made $3 million in 1 month on OnlyFans, so they've got to secure the bag by being close with her and not getting on her bad side. But I just think it's very weak. And sooner or later, what if that bad side turns around on you, one of the people living in her house, and the others aren't going to stand up for you? They're going to... I just found that to be quite mean, actually. This girl has like literally lost her entire friend group. When apparently, and I'm more inclined to believe Brooke over Tana because we have, you know, time after time, Tana exaggerating her and iDubbbz, that whole issue, Snow the product, the sugar daddy stuff, the stalker stories, blah, blah, blah. TanaCon. You have Tana exaggerating for effect all the time. And now this girl has lost a bunch of her friends and she's getting so much hate from Tana's audience. Sooner or later, YouTube are going to see this type of thing going on and crack down on it. And it says a lot about the yes men in the LA culture, the LA influencer culture. Because how does anyone expect Tana to actually grow and learn from her irresponsible problems if everyone around her is always kissing her ass 24/7? She doesn't have any actual incentive to be better. I mean, she's telling us that she's doing better and, you know, is trying to be a better person, but then she goes and puts up this video where she knows that the person is going to go find out and then receive mountains of hate for it. And also, something doesn't sit right with me that this type of issue was brought to the internet. Okay, so your friend, in Tana's version, the friend fucked the fuck buddy. In Brooke's version, Brooke just snogged this dude, or maybe did some sexual things with him. I'm not sure. They weren't exactly clear on that point. Why should this private issue that should be resolved behind closed doors be blasted on the internet for 5 million 13-year-olds to gawk at? Even if Brooke is in the wrong for it, which sure she is, it still doesn't warrant it being blasted publicly for people to see on such a platform. She doesn't deserve to get death threats because she snogged Tana's fuck buddy. Pretty simply. And also, from what I saw, I think she has about 50,000 followers on Instagram. And like I said, I do think that she started a YouTube channel recently so she could say this video. So to me, it's like you put your former friend on blast so publicly, but she doesn't even really have that big of a platform to defend herself by, or to stand up for herself. And especially if all of her friends are turning their backs on her because, you know, they'd rather keep sucking at the teat of the cash cow Tana. I'm not calling her a cow, that's just a phrase. Cash cow, right? What terrible wording. I'm sorry if it came across that way. I'm not calling her a cow. But I just don't think that's fair, and I don't think that's really acceptable. This might be my fault for continuously tuning into Tana Mongeau, seeing what she's up to. But I do kind of sit here and think, I know she probably won't change, but wouldn't it be nice if she did? Let's see if she... Oh, no. Okay, yeah, she's still doing some dumb, irresponsible shit. I mean, you can call this girl a bad friend. Like, she was a bit of a bad friend for doing that. But Tana's a worse friend for putting it on blast for millions of people to see. The human brain can't comprehend millions of people. I firmly believe that. Imagine millions of people just like knowing, because that video got about 2 million views so far. So imagine 2 million people knowing your business like that. Knowing that it should have been resolved privately. Stop being so immature. Tana Mongeau, I just want the best for you, alright? I just want you to sort yourself out. But there's no incentive for Tana to sort herself out. Because at the end of the day, she's still living in a big old mansion. She's still very, very, very rich. If that $3 million in 1 month OnlyFans thing is legit, I don't know if it's legit. I don't know. And if everyone around her is kissing her ass so that they can, you know, ride the easy train. I'm tired, so I'm not sure if my words are coming out at all. She says that she has a live-in life coach. Did the life coach not tell you that this probably isn't a good idea? Tana, like, say what you want about Mod's son, because he's really out there writing entire albums on your breakup. Fair enough, say what you want. But this Brooke girl, she didn't have a big enough platform to defend herself on. She still has, you know, tried to, which is great. But now there's so many of your child audience giving her shit for something that realistically should have been sorted out privately between you two. If you're going to do story times, sure, why not? They are entertaining. Don't make it so obvious who it's about. At this point in your career, you do know that, and you know people are going to look them up. People found out who the sugar daddy was. So because you've done this and you left in enough clues, I think you've done this on purpose, which makes you quite vindictive and not great, not in the best light. Is my lecture over? Am I done with this? What even was this? That's what I swear that's what I think with all my videos, like, what even is this video? Tana Mongeau doesn't care. She doesn't care about my opinion. She's just gonna, I'm just trying to be nice. I'm just trying to be helpful. Hey, next time, maybe think about it. Maybe don't do the thing. Maybe think about it. But maybe get the opinion from someone who isn't depending on your career going well. You know, someone who's going to be more objective. Someone like me, actually. Maybe next time, get my opinion on whether it's all right to roast this person or whatever. I'll tell you whether the situation warrants it. Like she gives a fuck. Anyway, that's all for this video. Don't know why I'm so tired. It's only 9:30 at night. I'm such a lightweight. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, do remember to like and subscribe. I make new videos whenever I feel like it. Follow me on Instagram. See you guys next time. Bye.